Hi there, my name is Jacqueline and I am here to teach you about some of the American workplace greetings. Now, America and Japan, we have a lot of similarities. Now, America and Japan, we have a lot of similarities. We also have a lot of differences. As you know, Americans are more into big personalities, being more expressive and loud, and being an individual, which contrasts a lot with the stereotypical Japanese company. So, to give you an idea of what it's like when you meet or interview at an American company, the first thing you gotta know is that you gotta shake hands. And when you shake hands, you gotta be forceful and almost a little aggressive about it. Don't give your hand like this, like a really soft, floppy hand. Get in there and just shake that hand and, hold on, not too tight, but like with a nice firm grip, something that that the other person's holding onto your hand. This goes for both men and women. Believe it or not, a lot of American employers judge you based on the shake of your hand. If you have really soft, floppy hand, they don't think you're right fit. Americans like confidence and being expressive. And so when you shake your hand, you got to show that through your handshake. So that's very, very important. I've noticed a lot of times when I go often to shake Japanese people's hands, especially the women, their hands is like this. It's like the softest thing I've ever felt. So just keep that in mind. That's very, very important. Secondly, Americans love having a big smile. We love showing our teeth, when we smile, and so when you're meeting someone first time, you're like, hey, nice to meet you. And have a big smile and a firm handshake. That's very, very important. I know in Japanese culture, a lot of people have for example, Jacqueline-san or Jacqueline-chan or Jack-kun, and oftentimes you use the last name. Now, if you're meeting an employer or meeting anybody, no one is going to say, please call me Mr. Lee or Miss Lee. Everyone goes by a first name. So as soon as you meet someone, just tell them their first name, like, hey, I'm Jacqueline, nice to meet you. And that's that. And then when that other person will tell you, hey, my name is Bob, nice to meet you, you call them Bob. Do not call them Mr. Smith or Mr. Whatever. We don't believe in those kind of formalities. Mr., Mrs., it's almost insulting, actually, to call them Mr. or Mrs. It's because we don't feel that we are, we're not our last names. We're not our family. We are ourselves. Americans believe that we are an individual. So our first name, Jacqueline, represents who we are. And in addition, Mr. and Mrs. gives the kind of a hierarchical structure, which Americans don't believe in. We believe in everyone's equal, regardless of age, seniority, whatever. When you are meeting someone for the first time, most Americans tend to dress almost a little bit casually, business casually. We don't wear always a white shirt and a black jacket and black pants. For example, something like this. It's blue, sleeveless, and very casual clothing. We like to express our individuality through not only our personality and style, but also through our clothes. So unless you are working for some government agency where you have to wear a uniform, most of the time Americans dress in an office setting in more casual, colorful clothes. And nowadays, not a lot of people, even men, they don't even wear a lot of ties. And then lastly, Americans, again, are very, very casual about a lot of things. So one of the things is business cards. When we give business cards, we handed them out very casually, like, oh, hey, if you want to call me, hey, take my number. Oftentimes, just with one hand, very casually, just out of our pocket, whatever. And when you receive it, you can just receive it with one hand, just like, oh, great, thank you. don't receive it the typical Japanese way where it's like, oh, thank you, thank you. It will make Americans very uncomfortable, especially bowing. Most Americans, we have no idea how to respond to that. Myself included, oftentimes when I do see people bowing, I'm not sure if I should bow myself. I'm like, but I do it anyways, especially if I'm in Japan. Of course I would bow to mimic the culture, but in America, nobody bows. That is just not a thing. And don't be alarmed if American wants to, instead of getting your business card, just want to exchange phone numbers with you directly. There is a trend in America to remove the use of business cards because we often find that business cards are kind of cumbersome. We don't want to keep so many business cards in our pockets because we can just find everything online or through our phones. So don't be shocked if someone says, hey, do you want my business card? Like, no, let's just exchange information instead via telephone. There's no formality, it's very casual, and they might even just say, hey, let's just switch information on the phone. There's also this really big website called LinkedIn, which I can go into more detail later, but LinkedIn is basically like a Facebook for all business. Almost everyone who wants a job or has a job in America has a LinkedIn profile. Now, this LinkedIn profile connects you to a bunch of people. So more often than not, people will ask you for your LinkedIn profile rather than your business card. Like I said, there is a growing trend to just get rid of business cards in America because we just don't like the waste of space. We prefer just doing everything electronically. So don't be alarmed by that. So this is just a little bit of insight into what it's like to meet an American company and its workers and employers. It's a little bit different than it is in Japan because there's a lot less customs and rules, but generally speaking, at the end of the day, the people are the same.